A very good afternoon to all. It is my immense pleasure to welcome all the participants, speakers, and other dignitaries present in today's session. I welcome Dr. Dinesh Bhardwaj, who is the speaker of today's session. Sir is in Hyderabad. Also, our principal investigator, Dr. Varinder Garg. We have with us a co-principal investigator, Dr. Harish Kumar, Dr. Sakshi, and Dr. Bharat Bajaj from Punjab University, Chandigarh. And I also welcome all the coordinators from our Brain Trust Institutes. Today we have a session on changing profile of pharmacological intervention in COVID-19 and related complications. This session will encompass all the different aspects of different therapies as well as various outcomes in COVID-19 patients and their impact. So we'll be starting with a brief video about our center, followed by other activities.
Anupriya? So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shivani Singh, and once again, I welcome you all for this new session of Arogya Short-Term Attachment Program. So before we start, I would like to introduce this Center for Innovation and Biodesign. Center for Innovation and Biodesign is a healthcare innovation hub and startup incubator established by ICMR at a premium medical research institute and hospital of global repute in India, that is PGIMER. It aims to promote innovation in medical devices, instruments, life sciences, healthcare technology, education, clinical research, and the healthcare delivery by creating a conducive ecosystem with the involvement of stakeholders from research institutions, government, and private healthcare sector globally. The main objectives of this center are to promote innovation in biodesign of medical devices, instruments, and technologies, including life sciences and other branches of healthcare for making healthcare affordable. It is to promote automated solutions and approaches for various common medical problems. It provides manpower training to researchers, clinicians, and faculty working in the area of medical sciences. And it is a consultancy center providing a solution to hospitals and businesses in the area of medical science. Now, about the short-term attachment program. This program is introduced to promote knowledge of technology and social sciences in the medical profession so that we can come up with some new ideas. It is a golden opportunity for students as well as researchers and faculty members to know more about innovation, incubation, prototyping, clinical validation, and commercialization of novel ideas in affordable and scalable healthcare. This program is providing personal interaction with the experts of medtech industry, and it is an opportunity to work on the development of prototypes with the expert teams. So with this, I would like to invite Dr. Bharat. Dr. Bharat, I'm giving this session to you now.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I would like to introduce our today's worthy speaker, Dr. Dinesh Kumar, who served the prestigious Premier Nutrition Research Institute in India, National Institute of Nutrition under ICMR. He has over 38 years of experience and known for his contribution to the domains of preclinical toxicology, nutrition pollution interactions, and social drugs epidemiology, both nationally and internationally. He was also engaged as a frontline warrior in ICMR COVID-19 NIN's operation as one of the lead investigators in epidemiological outbreaks. He has approximately 75 scientific publications in peer-reviewed national and international journals and completed various scientific initiatives with the help of national and international bodies. He received Young Scientist Award from Andhra Pradesh Academy of Sciences, Nutrition Society of India NSI, and Indian Pharmacological Society IPS. He is also the founder member of Pragna and Vigyan Bharati and promoted several science and socio-economic activities among civil society members. With this, I invite Dr. Dinesh Kumar to start his talk. Welcome, sir.
So thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Dr. Bharat Bajaj ji. Am I audible now? Hello, am I audible now, madam?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. Now, can I take the screenshot? One second. Am I able to, you are able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can I go ahead, madam?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah. In fact, I am very, congratulations to the CBI for really taking the organization to this level in a very shortest time. I know personally Dr. Virender Garg has a very strong leadership to run the organization, which I really appreciate. And when I see the video, I can imagine the inputs given by so many advisors, grassroots workers, and everybody. And really, such organizations have to develop. And I really compliment your organization. And thanks to you for sharing to my minimum knowledge, which I have gained in the last 1 year, like you, only in COVID operations. But the topic is little challenging, and I also have to be very challenging because the treatment profiles and everything are going on changing from the yellow fungus to black fungus to back and so forth, and how it actually turns out. Then just please, I will be going ahead with my first slide. The first slide is very, very clear that what should be the disease severity and how the treatment has to see, and based on the some symptoms and diagnosis, you are going to treat the patients. Like non-severe, severe, and critical phases, where I am just concentrating on a severe to critical cases. For non-clinical, non-severe cases, the treatment most of the time should be done at a house quarantine levels, which at the end, when we are coming to the intervention strategies, at that time I will be definitely explaining. Now, what the organizations are doing, really speaking, you are able to see there is a overloaded subjects in hospital. Nobody thought, nobody imagined, no proper calculations, no was actually having the ideas, and it was not the case of India, it was the case throughout the globe. But India was still better when we were handling the cases, keeping in view the proportion of our population. Doctors, scientists together, then paramedicals, medicals, everyone was joined in this battle, which was a global battle, not a ordinary battle. So the details were only pandemic COVID virus. Just I may like to briefly touch upon what is this human coronavirus, which was dissected, actually identified in 1960s. Virus of, such as SARS-CoV do not contain DNA. Please make it a point. It is a only RNA. Four main subgrouping of coronavirus is known as alpha, beta, gamma, and delta, which you are coming across the words like delta variety. Then there are Lombard varieties and all those things which are actually coming. Out of which, if you go to the 7 human common viruses which are getting infected, I am concentrating this on the last 7th one, which is the novel coronavirus that causes coronavirus disease 2019. You are able to see in the left hand side the picture. That picture shows that known strains of coronavirus infect the human, which is known, and this most of the things have been publicized as the human corona in SARS. Now coming to the right side, which is actually a corona which has infected and has a getty looking, and this getty looking has a crown. That is why the word corona has come out. Again, I am here with straight away concentrating because this is the question which always been asked. But today we are discussing the treatment therapy on 2009 coronavirus, which is a novel coronavirus. Now, what is this corona and COVID-19? Coronavirus are common in animals of all kinds. There was a doubt that it has been jumped from the animal, that is a zoonotic transplantation has taken place, but that is now of the late is getting wrong, and it is may not be possible also. Only thing is the genetic composition is same, and the based on the continuous research, it has been shown that it is not likely, it is unlikely that it has come from the bat. COVID-19 jumping to this human population, I have clarified when I go ahead further how it has come out from the Wuhan, why the Wuhan is the center. The type of animals which they are just mentioning is still not clear. Please don't take it then. Only thing is 96% of this virus matches to the bat's coronavirus. That's all. That is the only information available. You may be seeing here on the right side, we are just giving you the electron microscopy pictures of the COVID virus, which are been isolated and kept in our ICMR NIV Pune. And we are very proud that India also has the facilities of BSL-4, where we can store any type of virus, and we have identified and we have gone ahead, and in the world we have shown how we can do our challenging studies, which you can see on the left hand side the standard picture, and right hand side the microscopic picture which has been given in our IJMR journal. 1 minute, 1 minute. So this is how we are actually going about it. Now, just to take the molecular structure, how it actually happens, here is a spike glycoprotein, then there is a E protein, and then the solid wall, and this wall is washed only when the sodium hydroxide and fat is there, and once it is damaged, the RNA material comes out and the virus get died. That is why we say that wash your hands repeatedly so that the infection can reduce to the maximum extent. Now, I am coming to the coronavirus today's incidence, and in the today's incidence, the India is around 38,000 per day reporting, which has come down from 41,000 to 38,000. Today, we have 33.1 crore population with a death of 4 lakhs and recovered are 3 crores. If you go to the global, it is a 19 crores and recovery rate is around 17 crores. And the best part that India has become a globally leading vaccination program with our 39 crores, around 40 crore population has till date received the vaccination. And today our vaccination rate is going to be around 42 lakhs. So we are successfully able to do our vaccination intervention program, and really thanks to the government for making instant immediate interventions in this. This picture, you can just see how the wavy pattern is shown, and this wavy pattern is very clear when you compare the cases as well as the death. This is the picture how we have faced the music, and now we are in this phase where we are thinking that it has reduced, but there is a suspicion of a third wave. How and what it will be, the experts are now mentioning and giving the assessment. This is the new cases by which you can just see the graph has -9% has come down, and here the deaths have also come down by -11%. That means this graph is very important to be understood, that we have now developed the intervention strategies, but the question comes is whether it is an intervention or it is a natural herd immunity. That still not analyzed, but definitely an intervention has helped. What is that intervention? Is it a therapeutic, non-therapeutic, pharmacological, non-pharmacological? We have to really think about it. Now, before we actually go real to it, you must understand that new viruses breakthrough cases are coming. What are these breakthrough viruses? If you see in the down, I have put one round, that is lambda variety, which is actually been reported in Peru, and now India also are getting 2 or 3 cases, but they are been in localized areas which are been now kept under confinement. Delta virus in India, this Delta virus is now, the question is that in India in October 2020 and the 4th April, we are having something like 23 to 25 cases, which are also under this thing, and Delta virus is also going up. And among the all, when I have mentioned in my first slide, there are 4 varieties, out of which Delta is around 80,000 number of cases, which we are seeing, and it is 60% faster than Alpha. So Indian official genome sequencer report is in front of you. Now, I am just mentioning you how the global things are actually going. 91% of our 91% cases in UK are infected by Delta virus. The variant account 10% of infection is in the US is also same. US is the probably have a new way in next 3 to 4 weeks. This is a suspicion which is going on. Still, the vaccination there also is going on a rampant. Now, please understand that many a time people will be asking when to take a treatment and how to take a treatment and how, where it actually functions. If you see the up to 7th day, you will be having no symptoms at all. And from the 7th, before the 4th, the 5th, 6th day, there will be a pyrexia and there will be symptoms. The symptoms are given before, below down, and this is fatigueness, and also one of the symptoms, and now new emerging symptoms are coming. So all this will happen from the day 4 to day 7th, and 7th day there is a chance of hospitalization. This is the old picture which I am showing you, Now we are not recommending for the hospitalization, and this is how the shortness of breath and intensity of the severity of the disease goes up to 12th day, which is a very, very important this thing. And that is how the 11th day, 27%, 51 day shortness of the breath. I have put a graphical presentation of the same thing. This picture is very, very important to understand. The lung is a ground zero for the infection. So that means the COVID comes and the lung, the ground zero will be lung. And the sentence next used is a tears to the organ system from brain to blood vessels. Please remember, brain to blood vessels. So a clinician, I'm not a clinician, but the poor clinician has to understand how to treat and which target he has to select. Everything which was not known in the COVID cases has become really a challenge for a physician. So physician is in a real dilemma and they are making all the efforts, taking the support of the current literature, how they attack. Today one person says it is a chloroquine, second day it is zinc, vitamin D. And really speaking, we have to understand this last sentence. This last sentence even till today is correct. This is the first report which has come in Science where you can just see the ground level zero is a lung. If I am just putting you the symptoms based on the numbers, it is this slide is important because from how it goes from 1, 2 is a heart, 3, 4 brain, and like this whole sequence of events and symptoms are correlating to you, and this is how exactly the pattern is now getting repeated with the specific corona disorder. And this is how the organ toxicity is happening, and that physician has to take a call based on this type of symptom, and he is giving a symptomatological treatment which is really challenging to him. And salutations to the physicians all over the globe who are taking this really to understand the situations. I'm just putting this picture in front of you that healthy air spaces and this normal airflow will be stopped, and this is how the whole inflammation of the air spaces is seen, and this is how the pictures and other places where the COVID symptoms and reactions and syndrome, this called as a COVID syndrome, and this is where the ventilators and all these things have been used. What are the things? Now I want to just insert one small slide. Why? Because the virus has really a notorious virus. It has come in a different angle, and I have just want. I cannot directly comment on the China's role or Chinese role, but I can definitely have done lot of historical work in this and came across that out of the 20 top pandemics which have held in the world, the first one of the prehistoric pandemic is in Sirka, which is 3000 BC, and it is happened in a human Hamin Manga, which is a prehistoric village in the China, northeast region of the China. And here you are seeing the human skeleton. And now this has become a UNESCO center and archaeological center where this was the first epidemic which has been reported 3000 BC back, and it is a 5,000-year-old house in which so many skeletons have been stored. And that's how there are 20 different type of things which have happened, and I cannot take them to because my topic is about the therapeutics. But here, we have to understand that the disease has really speaking a challenging way it has taken a turn. If you see in Wuhan, the people say 8th December itself there was a case. 8th December 2019 itself there was a case, and none of the cases have been reported. On 31st December 2019, please remember they don't celebrate a New Year Day. On 31st December, they have declared this disorder from the Wuhan city where they have described it as unknown etiology. Within 7th day, they have given the structure of the genomic structure of the virus. Then WHO has declared in next 2 days. So we have to understand the sequence of events very carefully. Now, on 1st January, that means in anticipation, they have closed down the whole wet market in the China. On 7th approach and 10th, the genome sequence has released, and 12th January WHO confirmed. This cartoon is a very famous cartoon. You can read the cartoon is please hug me. I am not a Chinese. I am not a Chinese virus. Because in Italy, whatever this has happened because of the hugging which between the Chinese and Italian population, which was a famous this thing. So that is how the hugging has taken place, and that is how the whole spread in Italy. It has spread like anything. From then, 53 countries, people whoever have traveled, they have all carried this coronavirus, and that is how the spread has happened. When I mentioned you why the China is a stigma, if I am just going to present you, the first one was that Humayunga place prehistoric in northeast China. Then second one is 1957, which you all are well about the Asian flu, Hong Kong flu in 1968, that is bird flu. Then coming to the SARS 2003, where 774 people have killed, also is from China. And now the present one, which has really speaking wiped out the world, is all are the stigma are from China. Now, official really Chinese timeline, they are very, very clear, and this will concentrate. And I really appreciate one of the Indian research scholar from the Pune who have joined all the thesis papers from this every place, and they have concluded, and their conclusion has really been put into the sequence and order, and this sequence of order indicate how the whole pandemic and timeline of the Chinese virus which has emerged here. Now the question came whether this can be stopped. Yes, it can be stopped only if the vaccination is done. This was the cartoon which has appeared in July 2020. From here we will go whether have we controlled the pandemics or not. Because the history actually tells you that pandemics can be controlled, and pandemics have to come out with the real distinct solutions. Now the way in which we are now coming out with the new solution. Now, I'm just mentioning you about the plague where no one left to die. Please remember, I am mentioning a word, no one left to die. So, what they have done, they have told that you please avoid to sick people. And those who survived, they were having a immunity. Now, the word quarantine, which we are using, has come out from the Black Death disease, which is astonishing that 200 million lives in just 4 years. And these are all Venetians which were actually there, and 40 days quarantine period there was there. And this is how the quarantine word has come. Now the quarantine is a part of therapy, part of intervention. Then the Great Plague of this London, which we must know 1 lakh population died. And this is just in 7 months period. And all the people who are staying at home were not allowed to move out of the house. Whatever the food available, they ate and they died, and all skeletons in that area are still there. And this also is one of the famous places. And after declaration, the next day London was burning because of the temperature, and that is how they attacked. Then the word came vaccination. This vaccination word came with the discovery of a smallpox vaccine, which is the first vaccine, and this is how we have slowly started developing. And fifth thing which we have to remember that cholera, which was also a big public health research program on which we have really speaking fought the battle, and that is why we are on a very, very strong ground that we can fight against the COVID-19 also. How it is a real challenge, and this challenge was not actually speaking why I have to keep this slide here is that this challenge was not related to the medical background, or but this was related to a more social and mental and physical problems. Everywhere lockdowns, migrant labor were moving, people without a food were sitting outside the shops. You imagine the pressure on the country or pressure on the globe, how the definition of health, you have to recall that socio-economic mental stability are the only thing you can just see in this COVID. All the things have been really changed. The first thing came, you must start social distancing. This rebel is even today, it is fully valid. I am just giving you a simple example where a person who is suffering with a COVID should wear a mask, and without a mask he should not come out. This is the golden rule. The person who is going to see him, he should also wear a triple mask and he should go and wear it. If by mistake he is asymptomatic and he is talking, at least both should have one mask. And if there is a 5 minutes gap or 10-minute gap, the way in which these calculations are made, these graphicals are made, you can understand how the things actually can be controlled if we use non-pharmacological intervention of social distancing. Then there was a call from our Prime Minister on 22nd March. It was called as a Janta Curfew Day, and they were asking us to really clap the hands from the balcony at 5 p.m. Some people have banned, and everybody was telling that it is a different angle, it is not in favor of this thing, but this is a public health intervention program which has gone into the historical importance. And you can imagine the people have really come to know the awareness. It was not only an intervention, it was not a pharmacological approach, it was a program by which they were planning to create awareness, and we salute the government of India or Prime Minister for making such an innovative idea for 5 minutes, then followed by the whole lockdown process started. Then to keep the people on a tenterhook, they should not forget, they should not go out, which is now happening. So they have done on 5th of April, you please have a candle lamp, which is actually to give a honor to the scavenger, police, doctors and everybody. This was again to create awareness. And you can imagine how the sustainability of non-pharmacological treatment is important. So the people who are attending the public health program, public health qualifications, they know how we can engage the stakeholder into the program, and that is how you can actually make the whole this thing. But really speaking, thank you, Angels in Human, to the doctor. The title was given Crackers for Bus, and this is how we have kept the police also in active form, scavengers in active form, and this is one way of getting the intervention. The other thing was social distancing and isolation. That means the area which was actually having the cases, number of cases, we were actually making this Pratibandhik Kshetra or not isolation, and we have to confine the area wherever it is possible we have. That means we have learned so many things, how to actually cover the epidemiology, which is a non-pharmacological therapy. Based on this, you have given the slogans and everybody has taken. But I may like to go into the last this thing, which is a nutritional intervention, which I will be coming across, which is now becoming a very important role in the immune promotions. This, my institute where I am working, and I was working before superannuation, it was 100 years old dedicated service to this thing. We have a lot of evaluations from vitamin supplementation and how the deficiency of vitamin and immune affects, how the zinc gets affected, and all these micronutrient deficiency and immunity has been proved beyond doubt by the institute. So we still say that our plate, where we can have a sufficient food and all those things, can really make the change, and your immune functions can be improved if you have a proper diet. And this is what is our effective ICMR NIN message to all. Now let us just understand this physiology, because you see, and developing the antibacterial or antibiotic is very, very easy nowadays, because you have know very well the procedure. It is membrane, DNA inhibition and all those things, how it enters. But here in a virus, it is very difficult. If you see the left-hand side graph, which is very, very clear that host cell, how to make this entry into the ACE2 inhibitor. Then where does the zinc comes? Where does the RNA enters? And how this structure activity relationship overlaps to this. So you have to understand where the starving of the interleukins take place. Now I am just pushing to the next slide. You can just see this next slide where you are having a standard care treatment as a big this thing. And once upon a time, the hydroxychloroquine, you see the thickness of the line will indicate the thickness of the use of a drug. So this thickness was that hydroxychloroquine was really useful, and they have started using. Whether its utility is there, no, it is not useful now. that is beyond proved, beyond doubts of so many clinical trials. Then came the azithromycin, and you can just go on to the steroid. Now the question is coming, how the steroid should be used and what concentrations we have to use, or shall we use or shall we not use, whether the patient is on ventilator should be given the steroids or not. When I am coming with my next lecture, I will be just mentioning. Now you can just see these antiviral drugs. Now all the remdesivir, then interleukin and leukin 4/8, all these drugs which I am just mentioning you, these are the drugs. And in between you can just see vitamin C, doxycycline, and other small drug, felspir, interferon beta, and all these things. And this is the picture today, which is showing the real guideline how the changing profile of the therapeutic and pharmacological intervention is taking place. It looks complicated in the beginning, but if you really concentrate and look where the things have actually come and how they have affected, you can just calculate based on this. Now, slowly, if you come to the next this thing, how the actions, AAC2 inhibitors, how the limited studies have been done, and it has not shown any positive reaction. Then hydroxychloroquine, they have started giving 400 mg, but no clear benefit we got it. Then lopaminar, which has actually a protein inhibitor, which has also have shown effective activity to reduce the period, that means the duration of the disease period. And all the antiviral drugs have shown the similar type of activity, but really speaking, the therapeutic outcome has not shown. Whether these all antihypertensive drugs, they have not shown any real help in the treatment of COVID. Then the whole thing was on a vaccine watch. Now we are having a 3, and now 4th one is also been permitted. There are 2 more vaccines which are likely to come out in India. And this is the vaccine watch, how the vaccine has started developing. We have the indigenous vaccine, our own Covaxin, Covishield, and we have started producing the Sputnik vaccine, refilling here itself. So you can just see the vaccine watch, and this vaccine watch will help you to understand that now, after by November, we will be able to have 60 to 70% of the people get vaccinated in India, and for which everybody has to play a positive role, because again the vaccination drive has become little slow because of the non-cooperation of the people, but we have to really again pick it up now with the vaccination program. This is myself being a frontline worker. When the first time vaccine came, I have received both the doses. It is almost in February. So I am just proudly announcing that I have taken a vaccine. What are the type of vaccines which are important? You see, there are, like many people will be asking how it activated. I am just giving you some vaccines. Now these are all mRNA vaccines. Please remember, now the new trend has come, mRNA vaccine. I may like to share my experience, sir. I am one of the
Dr. Dinesh,
yeah.
Dr. Dinesh, sorry to disturb you, but your laptop has low battery. You need to plug in the charger. A message is displaying.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I think now I'm all right. Yeah. Thank you, Harish. Now is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah.
Now there is no message.
So sorry.
So, no issue. Otherwise, suddenly you may have gone. Out of there.
Now you get that to see why I am just mentioning that DNA vaccine when 1999. I still remember India were first, and NIN was given a responsibility to do the safety evaluation of this vaccine. Believe me, this vaccine was a Jai Vigyan program, and successfully. Why I am just mentioning you is because the safety is a concern. And then I am just showing you the safety, how the safety is playing an important role. Now, vaccine history, you all remember that it is a British physician, Edward Jenner, in 1796 has started this cowpox vaccine, and which is now becoming into these things and Pasteur and all those things. This is the history of the vaccine. Now, the present vaccines which are entering into the market are mRNA vaccines. If you have seen in last 3 to 4 weeks, we are getting a very good results. That means very good outcomes from different school of thoughts. That mRNA vaccine, if it is showing a successful this thing, a technology, in 1990, the physician scientist John Wolfe has given this mRNA vaccine to some mice, and he can see some protein molecules which are developed in this animal, but he could not go further to analyze which are encoded proteins. But he projected at the time that mRNA give the static reactions in the body and this may be helpful. Now, if I am going to put this technology in front of the people, and when I understand and read it this from the Nature Medicine, that mRNA vaccines are going to take the center stage for the treatment of cancer and other disorders. So this is how the mRNA vaccines have emerged because of this COVID. And you can just see the rapid, it took years, but here we have just introduced the vaccine in a 9 months or 8 months period. So this therapeutics is actually a scene where the technology advancements, how they are changing. Now, many a times what happens, many people use the WhatsApp, अरे आज ICMR का guideline ये है. Yesterday it was like this. Day before yesterday it was like this. Now this is the thing which has come in July, which you can just see the mild disease, moderate disease, severe disease. Has any time, you just imagine a layman used to get an access on the standard treatment guideline. I was actually one of the programs, the department where I am just speaking to you, it belongs to Professor Ranjit Rai Chaudhary. He used to run one program on awareness of the rational use of medicine. By giving such type of pictures and such type of image and how to take it, even a common man is able to stand with a doctor and discuss, and he would like to take. A doctor is in a position to rationalize the use of medicine. This COVID has really seen. You can just see in the mild, they have very clearly shown that quarantine, standard treatment of paracetamol. When I am going to separate this, the slide, then you will be understanding how the things are coming. The most promising COVID-19 treatment was a dexamethasone. Now the dexamethasone is under the questionable thing. 2 mg tablet, and this is the Oxford recommendation which they have given. Just you see the picture, and it was showing a potential benefit. When I am going to take you how the it will come with the July 12th guideline. Then came the Remdesivir, and everybody thought that it is a magic treatment and it is an antiviral, but it has actually speaking, what happened is it has only shortened the lifespan in the hospital. That means you can stay for minimum period, but it has literally speaking not treated the patients for the COVID symptomatology. That we have to understand. The same thing, this monoclonal antibody like treatment also have shown a good result by giving a starving of anti-inflammatory cytokine profile markers. So you just see how the scenario is getting changed. Then now the current things are going on, that inhaled interferon beta, which is in the now market, which is under the clinical trial, and it has shown some good results. This is what only a preliminary information which I am having. Now, then there was a blood pressure pill. There also you can see 2+. They consider that blood pressure pill is also going to give the COVID therapy. It has not. Now, I am just telling you this slide. This is my favorite slide because I have to really speaking, when we sit in ethics or with any this thing, my first concern is safety more than the efficacy. If this cartoon is meant for some other purpose, because this cartoon is in 2014, before our Prime Minister from 15th August stated that we should have a public toilet. But here I am just showing you that we have more mobile than the public toilets. A person who is carrying a mobile phone, he is supposed to get an entry into the toilet. He receives a message that there is no office or you got a promotion. Instead of that, what he will do is he will never enter into the toilet. He will be happy, forgetting everything, compromising his natural activity. That means you have compromised your safety in the efficacy, and culprit is your mobile phone. Please calculate the safety of a product and a drug. Now you are able to see ventilator, how many ventilators are issuing, releasing the water from the ventilator, how the infection is getting spread, whether your HEPA filters which are there in the hospitals being checked, and how much of the counts, and they are recirculating, and that is how the hospitalization has become a serious issue. Now, this is the July 12th guideline from the Harvard, and in this guideline, they have very, very clearly mentioned how the treatment should go, but whether this will sustain another 1 month, we don't know because the symptoms are coming new. They say that this COVID, if you are just having a pyrexia, asymptomatic, and you are having a ache, please take acetaminophen, quarantine yourself, and other drugs like cough or fever. But the dose, that means a total dose of the drug should not cross 3 grams. That means your paracetamol, if you are taking a 500 or 600 milligram, you can take 3 or 4, and other drugs, and together you should not cross the dosage by 3 grams. This is very clear, and this is called as a recovery at home. That is a one therapy. Now coming to the dexamethasone treatment, I have very clearly put on a red mark that it is for certain people hospitalized with severe COVID-19. Please, I am just putting very clear, and dexamethasone should not be used the people who are under respiratory support. So this guideline is very clear, and why that is not there, that I will tell you. Then FDA has given you an approval for using the tocilizumab drug, which is a recombinant, and this also they have given only to the patient who are in the age of 2 years to older, and this thing, and require a supplemental oxygen or mechanical oxygen or on mechanical heart bypass machine. So the guideline is very clear, but why they have given this? This is also based on the 200, 300 patients clinical trial. Now coming to the remdesivir, they have very clearly mentioned therapeutic efficacy, no, but it has shortened the duration of your hospital stay. Now today, it is very clear that this has not made any great impact on the treatment of this thing. In November 20, again, the combination drugs with the remdesivir have been given, but still the data is not very positive to say that it is an effective therapy. Almost all the people who are getting hospitalized are receiving anticoagulant, that is a blood thinner. This is the medication to prevent only blood clots. But here, the whole thing is that we have to calculate or justify the dose. I still can tell you diphenyl sodium, which is given to epilepsy patients, we monitor the therapeutic levels. If therapeutic levels go beyond 20 microgram, we have to really reduce the dose. The same type of real calculations we have to do, otherwise this thinners will make an adverse event, which is again going to land up the patient in a mess. Now coming to the other, now monoclonal antibodies. There are 3 monoclonal antibodies which have been recommended for the 3 companies. I have to forcefully put the brand name because there was not availability of any generic name. I have tried, and these brand name are the people. But this COVID are not, you please be clear that it is intravenously given in a clinic or a hospital. And these treatments are restricted and currently authorized for only COVID patients who are not on oxygen therapy. So these are the underlying words which we have to keep it, because if they improve, then there will be a gap, and the what we call the lung gap is going up, and that is how the death takes place. So recently, some reports on pharmacovigilance are showing that many patients more than a COVID are dying because of the adverse event, only because of the misuse of the drugs. So we have to be very clear. Convulsion therapy, plasma therapy, really speaking, it failed. In fact, it is absolutely meta-analysis has shown in all randomized trials that it has not helped at all. Then WHO has initially recommended to use ibuprofen, acetaminophen instead of ibuprofen, but really speaking, ibuprofen effect is still not effective. So acetaminophen is the best choice of drugs to have the anti-inflammatory and antipyretic activity. The NIH guidelines also have done the thorough search about the hydroxychloroquine, both on a hospitalized and non-hospitalized patient, but they did not find any therapeutic benefits out of it. So it is now become a out of drug. Now people will be taking lot of vitamin D, zinc, and other supplementation. Please make it a point that our recommended dietary intakes and 2 times or 3 times are enough, but the people started consuming vitamin D and they are crossing the limit of 1000 to 2000 unit of vitamin D, which is again an adverse event, which is causing a problem for a physician, which they are under reporting to the physician, so that physician cannot take a decision out of it. So how many complications, if you see the pharmacological therapy, which is the presently, which I am just projecting, remember sir, One Health, now the new concept has come. Now we have to go with this One Health, that is a human health, animal health, and environmental. So people will be asking, so human health is IEC, that means Institutional Ethics Committee, animal health is the Institutional Animal Health Committee, environmental safety, the Institutional Biosafety Committee. So these committees once upon a time were actually a casual, but we have to take it very serious and we have to really work on them. That this dialogue is our Atmanirbhar Bharat, which I instinctive to show that how the Prime Minister has really turned the COVID crisis into a self-reliant. Best example, this is about the 5 pillars of this. The best example is that one ration, one nation, one ration card. That means when I showed you that socio-economic factor where the people were migrating, if we were in a country, if there would have been one ration card, this migration issue could have been solved and our people would have got the full-fledged rice. So Supreme Court also has now to endorse it. So sir, you cannot just say pharmacological therapy, non-pharmacological therapy, social therapy, all these angles are important. Will pandemic end and how? Historian perspective, medical end. When cases and deaths plummet, maintain for a low period, then there will be end. But social end, the people get tired of living in fear. They have to get out of it. And this is well, but they are now coming out without mask and attending in thousands and thousands. Please let us not do that. We are in a very, very crucial phase. Please remember this cartoon very seriously. In 1918, we have won the battle but lost the war only because of such type of irregularities in our this thing. And my conclusions are that One Health will prevent the future pandemics. Vaccination has to improve. The therapy should be optimal. And this is how we can really make a collaborative effort from all stakeholders. And these stakeholders must work together to just finish this thing. Thank you. I am loyal to my institute still because it has taught me that good nutrition will build a good immunity. And this is what I want to say. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session today. Now I would like to invite Dr. Harish to please take over the session.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Dinesh. It's wonderful introduction of the COVID, origin of the COVID, and what we should do in the COVID, and moreover that what care we should take during these testing times. And it's really nice presentation which is compiled for our participants, and I believe and I'm sure that the participants will follow the guidelines and also will spread the guidelines in the country, and there will be a positive mood and positivity among the society to outcome out of the fear of the COVID, as well as to avoid the spread of the COVID. And we hope that Dr. Dinesh will keep on guiding, keep on mentoring, keep on hand-holding our young students, young researchers, and our ROGAS CBIOD short-term attachment participants. And I also hope that Dr. Dinesh will keep on guiding certain projects in CI BioD And I also thank Dr. Bharat Bajaj, who kindly consented to be part of today's event. And I am also sure that Dr. Bharat will also be hand-holding and guiding and mentoring our participants. Thank you all. Thank you, Rima.
Thank you, Dr. Harish. Now, students, after this session, please fill the feedback form, and we all will meet again in the next session on July 24th. So